So this is the pre-screening of Iron Man 2. Now, if you notice, this is a new segment we're doing this week, because he came up with it, actually.
I did. I literally was sitting here and I was watching the, you know how when you put in a DVD, it puts in some scenes or some nice action-y music for action movies and comedies and things like that. Not necessarily comedies, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
Action movies will have these cool sequences and awesome. I was watching this and thinking, you know what? Why don't we give our thoughts before the movie?
Yeah.
So, because we're watching these on DVD at home, we figured we've probably seen this already. Some of us have more strong opinions about this movie than others.
Yeah.
I don't like this movie. At least I don't remember liking this movie.
Yeah, I remember it wasn't as good. It wasn't that good.
Like, especially after watching Iron Man 1 last week, Iron Man 1 held up so well. It was really good, well paced. It had a clear point to go to. This one was not as strong.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't.
So we're trying to keep this as a short preamble.
Yeah.
Of our opinions. Are you expecting it to have held up as well? To be better, maybe on a few years later?
I'm hoping it will, but I don't think so.
I'm
no.
hoping it will be better, and that I was just being really harsh on it because the first one was so good. But at the same time, I'm really worried that I'm right. I don't want to be right. Like, I'm watching these scenes, and they look really cool, but I don't think there's anything there for the story, which is the problem. Without further ado, I'm gonna stop rambling and pass it off to you two.
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah. I like I said, I don't think it's going to be as well as I would remember. I hope it'll be better, but I highly doubt it. So yeah, that's pretty much. Like I said, I'll say probably be disappointed still. Like it was all years ago.
I don't know. I kind of liked it when I first saw it.
There's the door.
There's
the door.
mean, obviously it isn't like the
even.
best one. I mean, I've said the whole Marvel series definitely ain't the best movie, but I remember it being like okay, like it being funny, and I thought I liked it.
Yeah, I think it's like an okay movie. It's not like
I liked it.
good. You know, it's not like.
I mean,
It's
I'm not
okay,
saying
like,
obviously it's my favorite, but
It's from Paramount.
okay.
I would expect movies from these kinds of studios to be at least okay, and the problem is when they are just okay.
I just
then it becomes
remember the guy
yeah.
with the little
With the whips.
Yeah.
I remember him saying.
And I remember the donut scene. I laughed really hard at.
Yeah. All right.
That's
Well,
my favorite
I
scene.
also remember the thing with the diorama.
oh yeah. I remember that too.
I don't remember this movie too much. It's been forever.
I've seen this movie about 5 times. I think.
I've seen it like, probably like
I hate
3
it.
times.
All right. Well, let's do this. We're gonna watch it now. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Marvel Movie Mondays, week 3, and this
2
week
for me.
2 for you, 3 for me.
Iron Man is the only way to start this series.
Yes. And Leah's with us because she fell asleep and she was very tired.
Yeah, I'm about to join the boat because we keep doing these reviews at like 12
I
a.m.
know. We need to
Why?
stop doing it. I don't know.
Like, we started at like 10 and we finished at 12.
it's like every single week.
Every time.
I don't know what it is. It's like we just have it's like a schedule or something.
Yeah, it's just, it ends up being late at night when we do them. Okay,
Yeah.
but
Anyway,
with the review.
So again, this is
today,
week 3.
on the chopping block,
Yes.
I say chopping block, I actually loved last week's movie so much, I gave it a 10. Check out the other video up in the corner.
Yes. The eye right here,
Yeah,
like there,
right
above
over-
his head.
It's
to the
going to
left.
be over here.
Yes, or right,
Clearly,
whatever.
depending on how it scales in your
Yeah.
screen. But the important thing here is that today we're reviewing Iron Man 2.
2.
Now, I loved Iron Man 1. Iron Man 1 hits the nail on the head with every scene. The pacing is great, the story is great, the character motivation is there. It sets up things 1, 2, 3, boom. This movie, it hits a lot of similar paces, but it kind of falls flat and comes to a crawl with its pacing in other points, I would say.
Yeah, it's not as good as the first one.
First of all, I'm going to say, this movie on its own, good movie. The problem is it's not on its own.
No,
It
it's
is.
not.
It is carrying a lot of not dead weight, but just a lot of weight in the fact that it's not just an Iron Man movie. It's carrying us into the Avengers Initiative.
Eventually, at some point,
The,
in
the
like,
problem
few
is
years.
Iron Man 1, it's introducing us to Tony Stark. It's introducing us to Rhodey, Tony Stark's friend. It's introducing us to Pepper. who's Tony Stark's assistant. It's introducing us to what was the villain's name?
Obadiah.
Yeah, it introduces us to Obadiah, who is Tony Stark's
Which I actually found out
partner.
recently that he's actually kind of a main villain in the comics.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
the
he is.
Ironmonger. I didn't know that apparently.
And then we're also introduced to the partner of Obadiah, who is the evil guy. And
Yeah,
that's
terrorist.
the cast of characters for Iron Man 1. Notice a theme of how I introduced all of them? They all relate directly to Mr. Stark. Now, this one, the Iron Man 2 here, it's a bit more complicated.
Yeah, it's
That's-
all over the place.
That's the problem. Is the first movie we could tie everything to Tony Stark, who, if we're gonna do a character test of him to see how strong his character is, I would describe him as a bit reckless, a bit eccentric, a lot of eccentric.
Yeah.
Fascination with old cars, with new tech. He's interested in definitely leaving his note in the world. They make that abundantly clear. And he's worried about his legacy. He doesn't want to leave the world weapons.
Right,
He doesn't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
destroy it. He wants to try to save the world from what he's made it. He's worried about his legacy, which is the movie kind of is a bit ham-fisted at times, but I kind of like it because it's nice and comic book. That's an okay time to be comic booky. This movie, it's still doing the same things. He's still pushing the same thing. However, it's more focused on Hammer Tech, who is Stark's rival. Okay, that's a strong villain. And then we're also focused on, what was the Russian
Ivan.
dude? Ivan.
Yeah.
We're focused on Ivan, who is Tony Stark's father's business partner's
Assistant,
son.
I guess? I don't
No,
know.
son. His father's business partner's son, who
Oh,
was
okay,
deported to
okay.
Russia because they went for different things. And then we have, we've got Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, we do.
And he is supposed to be recruiting for a mystical We've got Coulson, who works for Samuel. We also have
Of course, you have Black Widow.
you've got Black Widow, who's
Natasha
working.
Romanoff.
Yeah, Natasha is working for Samuel Jackson, who's working for Shield, is recruited. It's much more complicated, and the thing is, I'm not against complication. It might sound like I want this to be much simpler. I'm not saying complicated
Yeah.
stories are bad. Complicated stories are very good. The problem is they're treating it like it's a really simple story, and they're going through things like this, and it's not too fast paced. It's just it kind of
They're not
falls
really
apart.
explaining it very well,
Like,
you know? Like,
When I first
This-
watched the movie and Natasha revealed herself to be an Asian, I was like, "Who's she? Who is this person?"
Yeah, like-
then after watching Black Widow a bunch of times in the other movies, I realized, oh, that's Natasha, and Natasha is Black Widow here. Like it didn't click to me the first few times I had watched the
yeah,
movie.
I mean, I guess,
It's
like,
it's a lame reveal.
I guess, like, if, like, you read the comics, you would know, but
who has time for that?
yeah, again, I feel like these movies didn't really establish themselves as big time movies until the Avengers came out.
Yeah.
You know, like, after the Avengers, it's like every year, one a year, 1, 2, even 2, 3
I
a
have a
year
problem,
sometimes,
especially
you know?
with how they revealed Natasha as, oh, she is, by the way, she's Black Widow. Which they set it up, sure, there's moments where, like, Tony's like, oh, she speaks, like, 12 languages, and she does this and that. And that's good, but when she just walks forward in the Black Widow costume, and he's like, oh, hello, that's a bad reveal. That's a very bad reveal. There should be some build-up to it. That was not enough build-up. There was a lot of awesome stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
I will say, as I said with the first one, the first movie has a great opening. It's this nice Jeep caravan going through Afghanistan, I think it is.
Yeah, something like that.
And Tony Stark breaks the ice by being Tony Stark, and it's nice relaxing before bomb hits. Oh, right, weapons depot, Afghanistan. This is bad. This movie, how did it start again? With Ivan in Russia?
It really started in Russia, where, like, it really left off where it begins where the last movie left off, where he was at the press conference and he was like, you know, like, oh, I'm not Iron Man, but I kind of am, and he's like, oh yeah, I am Iron Man.
My point being is that you can watch that movie, you can watch Iron Man 1, and just, you turn it on and you go, oh, what's this? American convoy, okay. Billionaire in a suit. Oh, that's Tony Stark. That's how quickly you get what movie you're watching. With this one, it's Russia, Moscow.
Yeah, you don't see Tony for, like, at least the first 5 minutes of the
But
movie.
when we do see him at the Stark Expo, that is where it kicks off as, oh right, this is Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Which, that's a good start. That should have been the start of the movie, I think.
Yeah, it was,
I think they should have then cut to Moscow, because that would have been a much better second scene.
Yeah, it really...
That didn't set the stage
it
well enough
just-
for me.
I don't know. It was a weaker opening. Honestly.
It was a. I feel like if honestly, I just came up with that realization in my head. If they just swapped those two scenes, the Moscow scene coming second to the Stark Expo scene, and introducing Hammer, who frankly came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he just like literally just showed
And
up.
he just walks into frame. Hey, I'm Hammer Tech. And then later at the what was it, a court hearing, I guess, for some department.
Yeah.
It was the Department of Defense's court hearing for Tony Stark. They're showing footage. He goes, "Oh, hey, look, you're on TV in North Korea making suits for them." And then it's just kind of like a little throwaway line. By the way, the United States threw away your contract for the defense contract because you were very clearly double dealing,
Yeah.
which, spoiler alert, is very illegal and very unethical.
Yep.
But I'm not saying he was a bad character. He was a very good character. He was very interesting. It's just they didn't utilize him
Yeah,
correctly.
they didn't really write him very well, did they?
Also, the thing with Santa Monaco, that was a thing. A lot of those scenes kind of seemed like they had the right idea, but they were just
They just
rushed
didn't
so
really set
quickly.
him up. Yeah,
They were
very
rushed so
well.
quickly. It just felt like they were there for
It
the
was like,
trailer.
oh, here's his next set piece. For the
Yeah,
film.
here
And-
he is working in his garage, working really hard. Here he is working in Russia. Here he is in a prison cell. Here he is in an airport hangar. Here he is building drones. Here's Santa Monaco.
Yeah.
Here's the kill box. You don't ever want to be in the kill box.
Yeah, so as you can see, we don't really.
I'm not crazy. I cannot stress enough. This is an okay movie. Like on its own, it's an okay movie compared to the one that it just like the predecessor to this one movie. It's not a strong follow up.
No, it really isn't. Tony Stark becoming a celebrity, I think that's kind of a
Yeah,
I think that's kind of cool.
The idea of like Tony Stark, this eccentric millionaire weapons manufacturer, becoming a superhero and then writing it out like he's a superhero.
Yeah.
He's drunk at parties. He uses a suit for stupid.
that's like
menial
some
shit.
kind of like big like weapons like consultant from like the U.S. became like a celebrity. You know, it's like
Yeah,
hey,
if they were Tony Stark.
yeah, like you know
It's
something like that.
billionaire.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just entertaining to
It'd be
watch.
kind of cool. You know.
The joke where he was at the government hearing about his weapon, and the person kept insisting, "Oh, it's a weapon. You cannot have a weapon like that." He said, "It's not a weapon. It's the most apt description I can call it is a prosthetic."
Yeah.
Which, for those who don't know big words, is like something
A
to
suit of armor, I guess. So
an extension of the body is a better way to
Yeah.
phrase that.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, like a prosthetic arm is an extension of your arm, or a prosthetic leg is an extension of your leg. The suit is an extension of him. That said, it becomes a bit muddied when you realize that prosthetic has missiles and machine guns and lasers.
Yeah. It's something, I tell you.
It is definitely something.
Stark's tech is still awesome looking. I mean, he's got that look down. You know, like
Yeah,
the
this-
very part, like that part where he was discovering the element, like he was like zooming out, like
Yeah,
you know,
I
doing
have
all
to
this
say,
stuff with his hands,
yeah,
like clicking in.
The
to make
hologram
spin
CGI
and-
in this movie is on point as to what I want future tech to look like.
Yeah, it's pretty
In
awesome.
that, like, the scanning of the model and
Mhm.
just being able to manipulate it, make it into the new element.
Even at the beginning, like when he was like walking and talking to Pepper, and he was just like taking stuff, like throwing it in a trash can,
Yeah.
and he was like,
Why don't we
chucking it
have
like
that
a
yet?
basketball.
I want that.
Yeah, that was cool. I was like, whoa, that's so fun. Of course, Stark and Potts' relationship is good.
Yeah.
It's still very strong. I feel like that's always a strong point for them.
Oh yeah, relationships are in these movies.
Oh yeah, that also happens.
He didn't realize that she was allergic to strawberries, though.
Yeah, for real. Like, how did
How
you
do
not know that?
He knew there was some correlation. He didn't realize that she was allergic to them.
Yeah. A new thing that I found out was that the main villain, Whiplash, I think this is what his name is.
Is that Ivan? Or?
Yeah, Ivan.
Ivan.
But I think like the comic version, like he's supposed
You've
to
actually
be
read
Whiplash.
the comics, or at least the Wikipedia article.
Yeah, well, yeah, I kind of read up on them.
I'm
afterwards.
normally the Marvel consultant guide. I've never read them.
Whiplash knew how to fix Tony's toxicity problem. I did not know that. I didn't
Yeah,
know he-
that was something that I pointed out to him in the middle of the movie. Was like the scene where he is in the interrogation cell right after the Santa Monaco scene, where he cuts up those cars and he
Yeah.
then gets caught. He's talking, and I actually forgot about that scene. This is actually a really good scene that makes me appreciate the movie more. Where he's talking to him, he's not saying much, and Tony gets kind of frustrated and starts to leave, and he turns to him and says, "What was the material he was using? Plate,
Platonium or something?
No,
Or
platium.
some of a P. I can't remember what it was.
He said, that in the chest. Very painful way to die." And Tony looks at him and he goes, "Huh?"
Yeah, like
And then he leaves. But the underlying layers of that comment mean not only does he know that he's using, I wrote it down, palladium.
Oh, palladium, that's
yeah,
it.
palladium in the chest. Very painful way to die.
Yeah.
And what that means to our dear friend Tony is not only is this big, because it's revealed that not too many people know that he's using palladium. They don't even know what it is. They just know it's something keeping him alive, and he's using that as a way to power the arc reactor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that means that this guy, not only does he know that Tony's using an arc reactor, he knows exactly how he's powering it, and he knows the drawbacks as to why it's not a good power source.
Right.
So he's not just some dude who stole Stark's plans. He intricately understands the tech that Stark has. And that's a good scene. This was a really good scene with a really good delivery.
Mm-hmm.
It just everything about it was great. But that was it. That was the only really good
Yeah,
pace
that was a
delivered
really good
moment.
scene.
And after that, we went right back to useless crap.
Yeah, pretty much. And then the last thing I got for pros is they introduced, of course, more S.H.I.E.L.D. and Black Widow. I thought that was
I really
kind of cool.
I don't know. I thought the Shield and Black Widow stuff, like aside
I mean-
from the model showing up, where he was like, "Oh, what is it? That's perfect." Where Coulson's holding up the model,
It did
and
Captain
then he
America
used
shield.
then he used it as a level.
Yeah.
You.
But I mean, like at the time, like when you first say it, it's like, oh, this is actually seriously gonna make an Avengers movie. Like this is actually kind of exciting. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's still kind of cool. It's, they're kind of like alluding to like still the Avengers kind of stuff,
Oh.
and they're actually committed to it.
Yeah, they were more committed to it. However, I think the Avengers is what honestly brought this movie down.
Really?
Yeah, like I think that they were trying to sell us on a new movie coming out. They didn't focus on this one enough because I like the stuff about this movie. I liked rewatching it. I liked a lot of the stuff with Ivan. I liked a lot of the stuff with him as Whiplash. I liked the Hammer Tech stuff. I wasn't crazy about the drones that all looked alike.
Yeah, they were really
Um,
lame.
It was basically staple on a new armor attachment.
or like a zebra stripe
Or
or
a
some of the other
zebra-
ones.
What is this, Call of Duty?
I guess I don't know.
Um,
The one blue box that did this kind of skin.
you lose. Then he blows up because he doesn't realize they can fly.
Yep.
Yay, spoilers. Did we talk about Hammer Tech just out of nowhere? I think we did.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Um,
Covered that a little bit.
Let's see. There's some more stuff I know we're missing.
Let's see. I got some
There's-
cons here.
By the way, Hammer Tech, the actor for Hammer,
I don't know what to do.
the that actor, again, good villain actor. Tony Stark, good villain, or good, close enough. He's a villain in his own right.
Yeah.
Good protagonist, actor. I freaking love Robert Downey Jr. He's a great
Yes,
actor.
he's
a
awesome.
treasure. However,
Oh wait, I know you're gonna talk
what
about.
am I going to talk
Are you gonna
about?
talk about Don Cheadle?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm going to talk about Natasha.
Oh, okay.
She is just so stilted and like everything. Because the problem is she's supposed to be this cool undercover spy, and while that's a great concept, she just delivers all of her lines in this kind of hushed, flat manner.
Yeah, I mean, she does get better as time goes on.
Yeah, she does get better,
but
but not in this movie.
No,
the
not
problem
really.
is like I don't think it's up to the actors. I think that is a problem with the direction she was probably given because there's not much you can do with cool spy under pressure.
It's like what they do in Thor with like Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Like he just is in there for like no
It's
reason.
just because the problem is like I think the main problem with these movies is when you have Iron Man focused movie and then you have
like a
you
side
have a
character
side
that nobody
hero.
knows about.
like
at the
it's fine
time.
to have some side heroes like War Machine. War Machine's good in this.
Well, yeah.
Because War Machine is an extension, he's a prosthetic, of Iron Man. he exists because Iron Man is there.
Right.
He's a product of what Iron Man of what Iron Man
It
operated.
makes
in the United
sense for
States.
him to be there.
It makes sense. Just like Hammer Tech having drones, just like Whiplash being there. These are heroes and villains that depend on Stark tech. And because they're related to Stark tech, they relate to the story.
Yeah.
But throwing someone in there like Natasha, well, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
We have a spy for some reason, I guess.
I mean, I guess because they want to introduce Shield, they want to see that. Oh yeah, hey, we have badass.
Yeah,
agents.
but like, I feel like they would have been so much better if they just stuck to Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
I've honestly, for the moment, forgotten his name.
Nick Fury.
Yeah, Nick Fury.
There you
That's
go.
the one.
Yeah.
I'm too tired to
Mr.
make
Eye
these
Patch
moves.
Man.
Mr. Pirate. Yar! It's be the Avengers Initiative. Arr! I have a big leg.
Get in my ship.
Get in me ship, mateys.
It's a flying ship.
We're gonna be boarding them.
Oh,
so,
boy.
Anything else that you had?
So I'll talk about the other one I mentioned earlier, Don Cheadle. I think that the other actor in Iron Man 1 that played Rhodes in the first one, I think he was a better actor. in this
Oh
one.
yeah. Oh, that's who that was. It was Rhodey.
Yeah, like so I think his name was Terrence Howard. I'll probably be wrong.
Yeah,
but I'm not.
this new guy-
I'll be amazed.
He did okay, but why did we switch actors?
I think
I'm
it might have
sure
something to
there's
do
a
with like I think it was like budgeting or maybe he just didn't want to do it because they thought maybe it wouldn't go anywhere. But now looking back, he probably regrets it.
Probably.
I mean-
I especially did not like the trailer bait. Looking back on it of the first movie.
I mean, again,
next time.
Again, all of these characters like Iron Man, him, Rhodes. I keep forgetting his name.
Rhodey.
Rhodes, Rhodey, Iron Man, Pepper. All these characters in these movies, they get better over time. Just the phase one, I don't know what it is. They don't.
Did we get any continuation of the terrorist sect from Afghanistan?
Nope.
Nothing.
Not even one.
Not even mentioned.
Nope. They go straight to Moscow.
The
and
best,
Ivan
the
and
best that
his
we
family.
saw of foreign affairs that were dealt with is there's some montages in the beginning. There's a thing that says that Stark solved
Yeah,
the conflict
East,
between
West.
the East and the West. Excuse me, it's only been like a few months. How did
Yeah,
one guy?
how do you do it already?
How did he make one deterrent wearing a suit of armor? I get that it's super advanced, but he's only one dude.
Yeah, no, for real.
Think about the nuclear bomb has only made so much peace. It made the Cold War. That was its own conflict. Now it's the Iron Man Cold War, where everyone's trying to make a Tony Stark, and then Whiplash comes. Ivan comes up with this much better solution of
Yeah.
why not drones? Which honestly, yeah, why not drones?
Yeah, for
you can
real.
command an army of them, and they can die, and you can keep doing what you want to do.
Yeah. What else like
And
that?
then he ruins it by, I've made some modifications to your armor again.
What else? Government wanting to control Iron Man's suit. I mean, come on. Why is the government have to get involved in all this stuff? Like, you know,
mainly
it's-
because he got his money through defense contracts, and the government already has their hands in Stark Industries. That's how they're essentially funding it.
Okay, yeah.
So that's where the U.S. government interest lies. Is hey, you made a big stick for us before. Why don't you give us this big stick?
Sorry
This-
for yawning people. Sorry.
This big stick is a weapon of mass destruction. Give us the stick. You are not responsible enough for it. That's where I think where this question lies. Not so much they want to use it for the military. It's more so the interest lies in we don't want this insane person, Tony Stark, to have it.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's more where the conflict lies for them. Is he's insane.
Yeah.
Have you seen how he acts?
I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense now, but I just thought it was like, come on, like the government, like they always have to get involved in some sort of way.
I
like,
gotta say,
oh, you have a suit of armor. Let me take it. Like, okay,
I gotta
great.
say that does War Machine have a different name? I feel like he has a different name.
What do you mean?
Rhodey's suit, like after all the modifications on it.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
I think isn't it also called the Iron Patriot, or is that another suit?
That's in the third movie.
Third movie.
That
Iron
third
Patriot's
movie.
movie.
Where he's like
I-
in like
I-
that blue, red, white, and blue
Oh,
suit.
okay,
Yeah.
that's that one.
Yeah,
Okay,
this one is War Machine.
There's another thing I remember, but going on, I actually really liked its design in this movie. If you look closely, there were a bunch. Go and put up like a screenshot if you can. There's insignias of the Air Force on it, and it.
One Rhodey suit.
Yeah, Rhodey suit. Like there's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it
I
reminded me a lot of
remember
the ODST armor, honestly. Like you
Yeah.
can see the eagle. You could see his commanding number. I don't know, but
I guess.
it reminded me that like most American uniforms, specifically in the army, have patches that are Velcro and you can take them off.
Yeah.
In case of things that you don't want to happen. However, in this case, it's like painted on
Yeah,
there.
it's literally like painted or like just
Granted,
printed on.
they don't expect him to get caught, but it still kind of breaches the American military design philosophy, which is to not let stuff get captured or caught. I guess
Yeah.
it's a bit different for vehicles, but
Yeah, I mean, what do we know?
what do we know? We're just a bunch of idiots on a couch
Yeah.
with a Captain America shield made of plastic.
For real, yeah. What else?
Oh, I did want to say there was the one suit that Tony had where he has started to mobilize the suit a bit better, where the first scene where we see Tony, he's in a helicopter, he jumps out in the suit, and lands at the Stark Expo, and then he has a bunch of robot arms take the suit off of him.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, why did you do that? It's got to be expensive as hell.
Yeah,
But
for
he
sure.
then later on, when Whiplash attacks, he is shown having a briefcase that is delivered
Oh
to
yeah,
him.
that's cool.
And that is the first time that we see Tony Stark starting to mobilize the suit a bit more, so he doesn't need that big industrial complex to put it on and off.
Right.
And that one, I remember that distinctly being in the trailer because it was him starting to advance the tech to it was more mobile. He could use it more in the field.
Right, and then in the third movie, he has like the thing.
Yeah,
where he
we are
commands
not
it.
in the third
Well,
movie. We will
I'm just saying.
we will
you
cross
know,
that bridge when we get there.
It's
like
it's
4
more
weeks.
advanced even in the third movie. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, when are we seeing the third movie? We're gonna see Thor. The next one.
It's gonna be Thor, Avengers, then Iron Man 3. So
Okay,
yeah,
so 3 weeks from now,
Yeah,
we're
jeez.
gonna forget all about this movie, aren't we?
yeah, probably.
Oh, there was the my board thing with that we just
Yeah.
simply remembered before watching the movie. We remembered that he wanted his bird back.
I don't know why.
The thing was, I was expecting I had remembered. I guess I misremembered that he had gotten his bird. That the parakeet was the bird he wanted, but then at the end he said that wasn't his bird. But I was expecting it to be like a plane or something, or some kind of aerial-based vehicle or
Right.
weapon or something. They never elaborated on that. They never finished on that. Yo, fuck you, Marvel.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the follow through.
Also, I like how when they first got him the bird, he's like, "This is not my bird," and then
Not my bird.
and then later on, he's like
super friendly with
He's
it.
like chilling on this bed with the bird on his knee. I'm like, what?
I thought you said it wasn't your bird.
I
dude.
know, and it's like, what? Come on,
Be
man.
consistent, you evil psychopath.
It's just so weird.
Also, he did have that bird in Russia.
Yeah, no, it's
So you,
it
Ivan.
looked like exactly the same one he had to be in
It
the
probably
movie.
was.
I don't know. It was weird. Let's see. I think one of the last things I have is the end fight scene was disappointing. It was very disappointing. You literally I can
It felt.
the amount of screen time Whiplash had on the screen fighting Iron Man was 5 minutes.
Yeah, I gotta
if
say,
that.
I also preferred Whiplash's previous suit as opposed to the end battle suit, where the end battle suit he was wearing a full suit of Iron Man
Which
armor
looked
with
like-
chains on it.
It looked like exactly like
And
the Ironmonger suit.
Here
from
is
the
what
last
they
movie.
did to fight Whiplash. It was I've got the ex-wife, and then it's a dud. Okay. Oh, whip. Oh no, they're both on either end, and they're both being electrocuted. But hey, let's do that thing we did earlier while we were fighting.
Yeah, put your
and
hands
then
up.
Come together.
Boop.
I mean, it's a good resolution because they had set it up earlier, and it makes sense. It was a good payoff, but
Yeah.
it's super lame for him because he didn't do anything.
Yeah, no. Literally, the fight lasted a
It
minute
was
and
like
a half, 2
five.
minutes.
It was like 5 things happened.
yeah.
2 of them were their
The
attacks.
first fight lasted 3-4 times as long.
Also,
as the ending fight.
Also, he got that suit as a result of Tony Stark's advice to him. Tony Stark's advice to him was, if you increase the power cycles to the arc reactor, you're gonna get more. You're gonna get more power, or you're gonna get more something. You're gonna get more better results.
Some more juice.
His advice boiled down to, if you overclock the arc reactor, you'll get more power out of it. No shit. This is something that if you go to any computer building forum or any car engine forum, if you make the power output more, you'll get more out of it. Duh. The fact that this guy knew that he was using palladium and he didn't know to overclock his own system.
Yeah, how do you not figure that out?
It's like I can do that shit.
It's like, oh crap.
Have you tried MSI Afterburner?
I didn't overclock it.
You're attempting a Russian accent?
Yeah.
Jamaican.
It's not very good.
It did not do the way. It did not overclock the way. Let's become Ugandan.
Maybe he is Ugandan. I don't know. In secret.
It's a queen. Overclocking is a queen.
Overclocking the queen.
This is what these things devolve into when we do them too late.
Oh, God, I know, for real, man.
let's see.
I don't know what else to really talk about.
Oh.
Well, I was going to do final rating, but if you have anything else to add, go ahead.
Let's see. I just want to say actors did well, direction wasn't great, Shield was too much. Oh, yeah, the part with his father. His father, we didn't talk about his father at all.
Yeah, that
I'm trying to make sure we cover all of our bases here, so
Yeah.
bear with me. His father,
Howard Stark?
yeah, Howard Stark, there's some footage at the expo of him talking about, Tomorrowland, essentially, about how important that is, that he's doing that, and, it's just...
highlight reels of just
It's just highlight reels of, hey, look at this cool tech Stark Industries made.
Yeah.
And buy our brand. It's all that. Until Tony Stark gets a box from S.H.I.E.L.D. And S.H.I.E.L.D. then just leaves him with it, and they say, here's all your father's notes and personal belongings and effects. Go out, you can't leave the premises. And, he's just going through all the things, and got the crappy ad playing, and then all of a sudden, cuts to some behind-the-scenes stuff of him just messing up a bit. And then there's some more stuff that he finds out about his father. His father then points out to him that he found a new element. but he can't synthesize it because of the limitations of his time. And through a bit of a cheesy scene where he builds a particle accelerator in his house. I don't even know if it is a particle
I
accelerator.
don't know
but
what. I think
that's
they
what it
named
looks
it
like.
something, but I didn't really hear what it was
looks
called.
like a particle accelerator.
Yeah, it really was.
It's long tubes that go through the walls and shoots a laser.
How did they not like cut through his house and like
He
next
did.
house over? Well, your next house over, you know, like
Next
just
house over is across the ocean. That's how.
yeah, well, you know. Just
But the part with that, it was a cool scene. But how did he discover an element that he couldn't synthesize? And how did he then hide that at the expo?
I think how
It was a cool scene.
I think how they explained it was like that whole like I was saying earlier about that whole part where he was like he scanned that big what do you call it, the little
the
miniature I guess of the
yeah, the
town
model.
or the model, and like he's scanning like he was like okay get rid of the trees and the buildings and then he's like all right zoom in on the,
Yeah, but, like,
the middle part
all
there.
he was doing was like, okay, now scan this. It looks like an atom, and if this is an atom, this would be the nucleus. And then he says, get rid of all the trees so I can see the atom better.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then, but then
brackets,
but then he
slices.
adds all the other stuff to the
Yeah,
atom.
like he then zooms in on the globe that is the centerpiece of the city, and which at that point it's just a wireframe of a model. What the hell are you looking at?
I don't know.
Like all the wireframe is just you see this pen. Put wires as a representation of this physical object. That's a wireframe.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
But I feel like I think the reason behind that was like the whole like model was supposed to represent the element and all the little like buildings and stuff were supposed to
Like
represent
the
that.
electrons, yeah, I guess the electrons.
I guess like it's supposed to say how many electrons and protons there were and
then-
stuff. I guess that's what it was supposed to be.
Also,
but
he made that new triangle suit really quickly.
yeah, he really
Like
did.
the first movie took a good 10 minutes for him to make the red suit.
Yeah.
This one he was
I know
like,
that.
hey, new element. Boom,
Yep,
in my
that's
chest it goes.
And then he just like pops it in, and it's like, all right. And then Mueller just like flies away and goes to New York and fights Hammer Tech and Whiplash.
And my word.
yeah,
Fights my word.
for like a minute.
I'm not going to ever not make fun of that. So I think we've covered everything now.
I think
We've
so.
boiled down this 2-hour movie in 20 minutes,
something like that or less.
something like that.
So now we're gonna do final ratings.
you go first.
So
You go first. Oh my god.
I didn't write it down, but I am gonna give this a 5 out of 10. I'm gonna say it's an average movie. It's not great, but it's also good in some aspects. Tony Stark's still funny. You got Pepper Potts, Gwyneth Paltrow. She's still great. Villain is pretty good. I mean, aside from his fight scenes.
Yeah.
The last fight scene anyway. But then of course you got that stuff like the shield stuff. I think it's like you said a little bit too much. But it does make it interesting. If the first time you're watching it, it's kind of cool. Like, oh, this is going to live through Avengers, and you're actually going to do it.
I do know.
Well, we're doing it now, but at the time we didn't know. Like, oh man, this is cool. And then of course Black Widow wasn't really that great.
Dude, did not get very much.
Don
direction.
Cheadle as replacing Rhodes.
I can't believe that's his name.
Yeah, Don
That's
Cheadle.
a weird name.
Yep.
Okay.
He did okay, but I feel like Terrence Howard did a better job in the first one. And of course, and also can't forget Hammer. He's there. I mean,
I liked him as the nice mean guy.
yeah,
He
but
did his part well. How about those mashed potatoes though?
God,
That's stupid.
I don't know. I didn't really care for him all that much. Like he was just like he tried to be funny and humorous, and it just
I liked it.
it didn't.
I think.
To me, it didn't really work. I don't know why. It just didn't work for me.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll give it 5. It's average for me.
Okay. Okay, so I swear I'm not copying him because the entire time we were doing a review, I had not come up with a number. Right before you started talking, I was like, no, it's not good enough to be a 6. Maybe a 4. No, I enjoyed it too much to be a 4. I would say 5.
5, yeah.
It's a solid 5 movie because there's nothing. It's got really good Iron Man parts of it, but the problem is the story is super held back in my opinion with the Shield stuff. And of course, my opinion, I could be wrong, but the Shield stuff really kind of handicapped this movie. Where just if they had stuck with the Whiplash story and just elaborated more on the fact that his father stabbed this guy in the back and deported him, rather than shuffle it along, and if they'd focused more on the fact that Iron Man had become a new deterrent, That would have been interesting too, but no,
Right.
it just gets shuffled along. No, we have to make way for the giant chains that are going to get killed in the final battle in 2 seconds. We have to make way for the boring agent that is really sexy and turns on Mr. Stark, because every woman in a short dress does.
Yeah, it
Like
makes
we
no
get it,
sense.
sexy women are sexy, okay? It's not that interesting movie.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, that's all we gotta say about that. It's an average movie.
It's not terrible. It's not as bad as I remember it, but it's not great.
No, it's not.
It's
Now,
got good action though.
real question is,
Don't
do you
be
think
relaxed.
it will be better than Iron Man 3? Do you think Iron Man 3 will be better? Worse?
I think Iron Man 3 is going to be much better.
Yeah,
I remember it
I
being better.
remember it being way better. But I've heard people say they didn't like that movie. But
I've also heard people say they don't like Star Wars Episode 8, and I've also heard people say that Hitler did nothing wrong. So people have made gross misallegations before.
yes,
so.
that is true. And we like The Last Jedi, so you know what?
That
Whatever.
was what I jumped to. People said Star Wars was bad, and Hitler was right.
Yeah. He was right about Star Wars being good 30 years before it even came out.
He kind of died before it was a thing.
Exactly.
That raises a new question. Do you think Hitler would like Star Wars? I don't think so, because it paints the Imperial Empire in such a bad light.
Yes, he would not like it. They didn't use the Blitzkrieg.
Back to this.
Oh yeah, the end scene. So basically, the end scene. There's only one of them because they only did one at this time.
Yeah,
when
because
we
this
were
was
out.
like the second time they'd done an end scene.
Yeah.
Um,
But anyway, at the end, you have
It's
Coulson. He
Coulson driving through a desert, and then I was like, "Hey, it's Breaking Bad. Is this New Mexico?" It
Yep.
looks exactly like it. And I was
Yeah,
like,
like,
"Yeah."
drives up
Then
in
the
the desert.
plate goes in the center screen. It says New Mexico.
Yep, that's it. You know
Which,
where you are.
By the way, why was Coulson driving a car from the area? Why didn't he have an out-of-state car?
I don't know.
But moving on, he then walks up to a dig
yes,
site.
I'm
He walks up to a dig site, or what looks like a dig site, where they have uncovered Mjolnir,
Yep.
Thor's hammer. I almost said
Mm.
Horse Thammer.
Horse hammer.
Horse Thammer. I mixed up the syllables.
It's the horse hammer.
It's the Horse Thammer. Not
And-
hammer, Thammer.
Yes, and that is where they set up the next movie, which is Thor. But that'll be next week, and my God, if you thought this movie was average,
If I dislike Natasha Romanoff in this one, yep. Get ready for a guy with bow and arrow to not make sense. That happens.
It's late. We're
It's
done.
almost
with this
1
movie.
a.m. Done.
Again, think of us around till next week. Thor's coming next, and then after that, we'll kick off February with Avengers.
Ooh,
That'll be exciting.
Strong start to the new month.
Yeah, that'll
I'm
be
looking
awesome.
forward to February.
Oh yeah, February has some good ones. What we got? February. We got.
No, don't let them Google.
Oh,
Let
okay.
them
Well,
Google.
you know what? We'll let you Google it. You'll figure it
I
out.
can't
You'll probably
see
see it from the side, but maybe.
Maybe not. You just crop and zoom in.
Yeah, or you probably know anyway, regardless.
It's common knowledge.
Yeah, anyway. So yeah, guys, we'll see you next week. Bye bye for now.
Bye, Internet.